Hello, and welcome to Realign Journey, the unfiltered guide to self-discovery and reconnection. I'm Sierra Sambrowski, your host, and together we'll deep dive the topics that have caused us to lose touch with ourselves and explore ways to reconnect to our true self. This week, I am joined by Sally Estlin. Sally is the founder of Holistically Fit and a holistically fit specialist who is passionate about helping people create positive change in their lives, to let go of drama and live a happier life. As a holistically fit specialist and empowered empath, her skills include training as a bling angel, personal trainer, wellness coach and change agent, quantum healer and activator, and a hands-on healer. She's an avid networker, YouTuber, and an international best-selling author of several books. And if that's not all impressive enough, Sally has also recently launched a new clothing line called Empowered Clothing and begun creating live stream content. In all the things that she does, her mission is to help people break through their barriers to maximize their life. Sally, you're incredible. Listen to all that stuff you did. Thank you for being here. I am so glad we finally got this together.
I know it took a while. Excuse me. I'm incredibly grateful to be here, Sierra. Very blessed and very excited to be on your show.
Yeah, this is going to be so great. So we were going to try and cover the topic wherever it goes. We were going to start with the idea of rediscovering joy. And actually, I know also you were talking about sort of the steps people go through from moving from pain into peace. And they're slightly different, but they're also kind of the same. So
yeah.
Is there something in your personal journey? We hear about I just read about all these wonderful things that you've created in your life, but I'm guessing it didn't necessarily just manifest straight from an easy place. I'm guessing there was some journey there for you also.
Yeah, like everyone's got a journey, right? And but most recently, because I'm in Melbourne and we were the most locked down city in the world during COVID. And that actually was a real life changer for me. So my rediscovering joy out of COVID was to literally do a sea change. I just sold up the house right in the middle of the city, it had a beautiful house, pool, just all that sort of stuff, and moved out to the country because I had to get back to basics. My joy was reconnecting back into nature. Like I sit outside of here, I'm looking out the window and there's a tree where koalas live, right? And every day I do a 9K walk, which is, I don't know, about 5 miles or something. It's along the beach. And I reconnect with the water that's moving, and dolphins are there. And sometimes kangaroos jump out from the forest that's on one side, come down the banks to drink some water from the ocean. Like, it's amazing. Blue-tongued lizards are out there. And that is my joy. And I make it part of my workday, and it's a non-negotiable that I get out and walk in nature. I listen to empowering books, podcasts like yourself, and just really ground myself. Because when you're walking, you're letting the stress out of your system. It's the nervous system is regrouping. And to me, that is my joy, just reconnecting with nature, reconnecting with the universe. All my downloads come, like, it's just, it's my non-negotiable every single day. And that is my joy, just, connecting with nature. So it's been 2 years now since I moved, because we only got out in October 2 years ago. So that is my rediscovery. And mid-50s, and it's just like, what is important? And it's the simple things, so I don't know if you had many changes that really made you think about what is important in life since COVID, but for me, that was it.
Since COVID, I've had them all my life. I've reinvented myself, and just, they're like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And I'm like, we'll figure out what to do with the baby later on. I've had plenty of reinventions in my life, but I'm guessing you didn't always make finding joy a practice for yourself?
Not at all. And, it's probably only been the past 12 years. So, later in my life that I was going through the motions for such a long time. Like, I had 4 kids in 4 years, and I was sort of doing Groundhog Day for such a long time. And it wasn't until, the marriage dissolved that I thought, there's got to be more to life than this. And that's really when I started on my self-discovery journey and starting to focus on myself. And for a long time, I just hadn't. And, I am so grateful now that I only hang out with people like yourself, like-minded people that are consciously awake. Before that, I was asleep for a very long time. And just look at the quality of my life back then and now, and you can't even compare the two. It's like I was a slow adopter, or whatever you want to call it. I didn't wake up till very later on, but I am so glad that I'm awake now.
Yeah. And you bring up about the divorce and going through that self-discovery, and that's really like my sweet spot, right? Like, that's exactly what I work with, these people that have gone through some kind of loss, and it makes you crack open. It won't always make you wake up, but it makes you start to wake up, and you're like, hold on, is that coffee that I smell in the other room? Like, wait a minute, where am I? How did I get here? Am I doing anything that I actually want, or have I just been going through the motions? Right?
Yeah, you're so spot on, because everyone said to me, but Sal, you're living the dream. I had the big mansion house. I had the beach house. I had, so much money, it wasn't funny. I had all the nice cars, had the jewelry, had the lifestyle, had the trips. But that wasn't life to me. Now that I'm reflecting back, I thought I had it all. And then I literally had nothing. I had no depth in my life. And I thought I did. And it wasn't until that moment when it was all taken away. And at first I was a bit grumpy, thinking, the pity party, poor me.
Yeah.
But it was the making of me. And it was interesting because my ex-husband had been married before, and his mother at the time had said to me that it was the making of his ex-wife when they split up, because she started working, she started to have purpose in her life. And I thought, oh, that was interesting that, my mother-in-law said that. But the same thing happened to me. So you don't need the riches, because you get the richness out of what you discover, that what's important.
Yeah, it's like your ex-husband was a muse for this real iteration of you, right? That is weird too, that your ex-mother-in-law recognized that somehow her son, being who he was a catalyst for the women that were leaving him, or that he was leaving.
Yeah. Well, everyone comes into your life for a purpose, right? It's a reason, a season, or a lifetime, as they say.
Right.
And it was, I believe it was just, just to father the children. So bring those, and isn't life interesting? Our souls and everything. I equate it to, like, when we're up in soul heaven or whatever, and we've got a whole DVD selection. We go, which movie do we want to play out?
Yeah, that's true.
I laugh about it all the time.
Yeah. And I love that. And this is something that I've learned, but it makes me think of it straight away, is like, and if you don't like that movie, you can turn that shit off. You do not have to watch it anymore. And it's true, right? It's true that we can do that in our lives. And yet, kind of furthering this analogy, I was that person that was like, no, but I started the movie. I just got to finish the movie. Like, I would make myself sit for 2 hours through something that I just dreaded. It bored me, or I just didn't like it, or whatever. And I would make myself finish. And then it's probably only actually been maybe the last 5 or 6 years. It's not been that long. I'm 46. It clearly took me to like 40. And I was like, why the hell am I doing this? Like, nobody's making me sit here and watch the end. Screw this. I'm turning it off. But it's true for our lives, right?
It's so true. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, you're making me laugh because the other night I don't watch TV, but I do watch Netflix or something just as a chill out sort of
Yeah, I'm the
stuff.
same. Yeah,
And
same.
Bridget Jones was on, and I'm like, I don't know how old that is, 20 years, 30 years or something.
Probably at least, yeah.
But it's so late because the same thing, I couldn't turn it off. It was rekindling lots of memories and watching her in the Nana undies when she's having those on, and all the funny moments and just hanging on. But it's true. It's just like we know what's happening, but we still can't stop the show, right? So we get caught up in the in the drama of everything, and we just can't press stop, or we can't press pause, and we keep going. But as you say, we can control our destiny, but sometimes we just get in the wave of it and just go, oh, I don't know how to get off this.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting because, like, even listening to you talk, I'm like, the analogy keeps going in my head because I'm like, what is it that, like, very literally makes us sit and watch a movie even though we don't want to and we're not enjoying it? And so it's like, what is that self-talk? And is it, well, I started this, so I have to finish it. I mean, that's a big programming thing that I think runs through so many people's lives, especially people in our generation and older, because we were brought up that that's what you do. You don't quit things, right? Like, so we do it with our careers, we do it with our marriages, we do it with friends, we do it with family. Like, we let people treat us bad, we stay miserable, we lose our joy in life, we lose peace, we lose health, we lose money, all because something in us is like, well, you need to be loyal. You made a commitment. You got to stay in this. I don't even know where the hell we ever picked up. I mean, I do know where we picked it up, but
yeah, it's interesting because I've been really banging on lately on my sort of videos and live streams and things is about 3D and 5D, the whole shift. And I call it the old way because I don't like to call 3D because people get caught up with the 3D, 5D thing.
yeah,
I go 3D is the old way, excuse me, and 5D is the new way. And the old way is very much getting caught up in the old limiting beliefs, right? And the new way is clearing the slate, just having that getting a whiteboard and wiping it clean and moving forward, and no attachment to the past, just living in the moment and riding the wave of life and trusting, believing, and allowing. And I've done a lot of work lately on I suppose reskilling with how to clear limiting beliefs. I just did a Joe Vitale sort of course on it all, and Ponopono and affirmations and all these different tools and techniques. But we have to make a choice to change, and so we have to like pull on our big girl undies and say, you know what, enough, I'm done with that, old way, I'm going the new way. And the new way is letting go, right? It's stepping up and being more of you, just living in the present moment. And that's where your joy is, where you're not attaching to the past. You're not allowing that to drag you down, raising your frequency, your vibration, your energy, and just going and living in the moment. And I'm getting goosebumps all through me saying it because it's so empowering, and I really, that's what brings me the joy, is empowering other people through allowing them and helping them, assisting them on their healing journey to let go of the past, that old shit, because we don't replay Bridget Jones all the time, right? We want to rewrite this new movie moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that that's something that, first of all, I discovered from myself in one of my reinventions. It was that I have a choice. I mean, I think that was, it seems ridiculous, and yet I see it play out in people's lives all the time. And it's like, but you have a choice. And like, well, I don't really, like, I have to do this. And even with the movie analogy, right? Like, you have a choice. You can turn that off. And it's amazing how many of us have become sort of desensitized to ways that we don't even recognize that we have a choice. We get to choose. We get to say, that's not who I am anymore. That does not bring me joy. We get to choose, I'm focusing on joy. We get to choose, I'm focusing on healing myself. We get to choose, I want to create a connection with the universe, with divine consciousness, whatever, because that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
People just don't even realize they have a choice.
Every day you wake up and I say to people, all I know it's a day ending in Y. That's the only thing I know about today.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are in the driver's seat of our energy, of our choices, right? We can choose how we think, how we feel, and how we act. It's the only thing that we are in control of every single day, every single moment. And, you know, we are so powerful when we actually have that recognition, that awareness that, you know, everything is perspective. We can choose to see things in a positive way or a negative way. And we are in the powerhouse of our choices. And once we have that awareness, life becomes so much easier. You know, we can choose to react rather than respond to every situation and challenge or whatever comes at us. And once we have that awareness, you can change things. You can't change what you don't know, right? And once you have that awareness, you can change it, right? Change how you react to things.
Yeah.
Super, super powerful and super, super life-changing.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because, you know, some people are like, well, when I'm not in control, I feel afraid. I'm like, but you are in control. Yeah. Your power of choice and activating your choice is exactly where you have control. So for all these people that think life is out of control, and so that's why I overdo this and I'm structured here and I try and overmanage this, it's like, okay, well, instead of being in the nitty-gritty of it, take a step back, be a little bigger in your view, in your perspective, and go, every single thing I do from the second I open my eyes is a choice. Do I hit the snooze button? Do I get up? Do I make the bed right away? Do I go to the bathroom right away? Like, all that stuff is a choice. And you're like, well, I have to do this. Well, no, you don't. Yeah. You are unconsciously choosing every single step all through your day. So take control of being conscious about your choices instead.
Yeah. And a really important tip is, first thing when you wake up, don't grab your phone, right? Take half hour out to just turn off from that. So allow your creativity and your juices to flow. Like, you know, you might get up, go to the toilet, whatever, get in the shower and just think about your day ahead. And that's where you can really step into your powerhouse with your choices. What am I choosing to do today? What sort of energy or intention do I want to bring in today? You know, and it's before you get into the nitty gritty, like you were saying, texting, checking your emails, looking at your messages, whatever, and getting you allow your, you know, your left side, your female energy, your nurturing, your intuitive side to flow through you. I think that really helps with your choices for the day ahead. And think, you know, oh, what do I want to bring into my day, you know? And that's where your joy can come in. You know, oh, I wouldn't mind a walk today. It's going to be nice weather. Okay, so I can do that after 3 meetings or whatever. And get your mind into that state before you get caught down in the nitty-gritty stuff.
Yeah, that brings up a really good point about like making your choices based around doing what's going to bring you joy, being able to intentionally create at least one thing every day that's going to make, and maybe that's more for some people, but you know, I think for some people, and so I'm asking you to share, give advice here. How do they even go about realizing what brings them joy? I mean, I don't know exactly where you were when you had 4 children in 4 years and then have this numbing lifestyle, rich, but potentially numbing. And then all that's gone, right? Like at that point, I have clients that come to me that couldn't tell me what their favorite color is. So if I was like, choose something that brings you joy and start incorporating that into your life, they would be like, I don't know. I mean, do you see that? And what would be some advice to get people to start even just discovering what does bring them joy?
Yeah, really good point, because I get caught up because I'm just so in that space now, and to take myself back to where I was literally in the fetal position bawling my eyes out, thinking, woe is me. And then I just had to stop. And in stopping is a really good place to find your joy, because you think you like writing down is really powerful, because you bring stuff up and out, you bring out your feelings, you bring out your thoughts. If you can take the time to just write down all the stuff that's inside of you, because it will come, but it's all of this self-discovery journey is not an easy path, and you have to want to do it. You want to have to say, you want to have that change so bad enough that you will dig deeper to find it. And it's that connection within yourself. And how do you find that? For me, I think I say to people, just place your hand over your heart and just close your eyes and breathe, and just visualize anything that feels nice. It might be walking on a beach, or it might be, having a cocktail in the sun. I don't know, whatever it is. But then you peel those layers off to see what that is actually connecting to. And that's where your joy lies. It's a deep dive, but you've got to make that choice to want to actually go there, and then you've got to do the work. And so it's not going to be, it's not like a 5-second answer, right? It's like, you've got to really do the work. You've got to connect within yourself and ask yourself the hard questions. What is important to me? And then you will find your joy. So, for me, it's family, it's friends, it's hanging with the right people. And then it all led to nature, right? And so my joy is connecting with nature. But that didn't come overnight. That was a long process to get there, but I did the work. So I would just say, just start connecting with yourself. Just simple, small steps. Hand over your heart, breathe, close your eyes, and just ask yourself, what is it that makes me happy? And just tap in and see what comes up.
Yeah, I mean, you got to start somewhere, and you have to, like you said, and, if somebody uses a facilitator like yourself or me, we can help prod that along, right? We know the questions to ask. And so sometimes it's hard to be able to give people the advice to start on their own. It's even like for myself, when people are like, well, how did you? And I'm like, honestly, I don't freaking remember. Like, I struggled a lot. It was hard.
Yeah.
It was real hard. I had good days, really bad days, and it was very, like, but do I remember? It's like childbirth. They say, like, you don't remember the pain. I know it was painful, but I don't remember the pain. And so that's kind of how it was through that self-discovery. And I think even the self-discovery did not automatically, for me personally, it did not automatically bring joy back into my life. It gave me clarity and confidence.
Yeah.
But the cultivating the joy part was something different.
You've got to roll your sleeves up and get dirty, right? And it's very painful. So, we were talking earlier, just from pain to peace. You've got to, it's like ripping a Band-Aid off. There's a wound there that needs to heal, because you've got to own a lot of stuff, right? But I think the first step is just making the commitment to change, that you want some change in your life. You want to have more joy. Like, there has to be something better than what I've got right now. And go, yeah, okay, so I'm prepared to, like, go and discover what it is that I'm really looking for. Because I know I thought, how can I get out of a marriage, right? I'm thinking, no, I've got 4 kids, I can't do it. But for me, I couldn't sleep at night. I could not sleep. It was just, the energy was too toxic. And I thought, if I can't sleep and I feel sick, that's not healthy. And for me, the pain was so great that I had to do something about it. I had to change. And it takes balls. It takes courage to change. It's not an easy process, because, you're so comfortable with what you're doing, even though you think, I can put up with it. But, like, I look back and I go, thank goodness I had the courage to change. It's not hard. It's not easy. And it was very hard, with kids involved, when it's other people involved. I had a client who, I was massaging her, and I got this moment where I just couldn't breathe. And I said to her, "Are you okay? Because I'm struggling to breathe." And she goes, "Oh my God, that's how I feel every single day. You're tapping into how I'm feeling." She said, "I'm Italian. We've got this very strong, close-knit family. I'm in a marriage that just, I just don't feel happy, but I can't get out of it." And I said, "Nothing like this." Like, I was struggling to breathe. Anyway, long story short, she ended up leaving the marriage and then repartnering and had a glorious life. But she took the courage to do something about something that wasn't working for her, because not being able to breathe, like living like
Yeah.
that, that's just like, wow. So, I just encourage people that are in a situation where they're just not happy, rediscover the joy, right? Take time to stop and think about, what is life looking like now, and what's going to look like tomorrow, and then in a year and 5 years, if you stay the same, what change are you choosing to bring in? And
Yeah.
think about that, because life's too short to have a crappy one. Let's just have a happy one, right?
Yeah. 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 I know that's one of your mottos for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and even that, right? It came with making a decision. It
Mm-hmm.
came with the decision of saying, my joy is more important than staying in the construct of this marriage. Or like, even when you were
Yeah.
talking, I was thinking, like, that's how people feel in jobs. That's how I've felt in jobs before,
Yeah.
where like
Yeah.
Sunday night, you're like literally sick to your stomach and
Yeah.
dreading going
Yeah.
to work. And this is how you feel every single day. And as
Yeah.
hard as it is, and as scared as we can be, it takes that one moment to go, I choose to feel better than this.
Yeah.
Even if we can't say we're choosing joy, we're like, I choose that I want more peace in my life, in myself, in my core, than
Yeah.
what is happening to me right now. So that means I have to choose to change something.
Yeah. Once again, it's the choice.
It is,
It's the
yeah.
choice, and we are in the driver's seat. And once we really fully embrace that understanding, but life just changes. It absolutely changes. And, trust, believe, and allow. It will be okay. Surrender all the drama, surrender all the attachments to the worry, the fear. It's the dark side. It's just trying to take you down. There's the light side. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. How beautiful is the light side?
It is. And actually, you were saying about surrender, and I heard something earlier today, and I wrote it down because it stuck with me. And it was saying about acceptance is where we go in our head, and surrender is where we have to go in our heart.
Oh, goosies.
I
Love.
know that's good stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think for a lot of us, we have to get to acceptance of this situation is not for me. I've outgrown this relationship. I have a choice. I choose my own joy and peace over what I have now. We have to accept that we can even do that we can make those choices first, that we can allow ourselves the space to start looking and exploring, how do I create that? What do I have to shift and change to get there? But if we don't surrender in our hearts to how that happens, if we want to stay in our head about it and keep trying to noodle and construct, and it's going to have to look like this, and I'm going to have to do this and that, then it makes it harder and it takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
The key is that surrender.
We have three brains, right? Our head brain, our heart brain, and our gut brain. And our head brain, it's there, thank you very much, but it does limit us, because it sabotages our true essence, right? Because it's there to protect us and whatever, but it's our logic brain. Then we connect in with our heart, where we've got the feelings, the emotions, and all that sort of stuff. And surrendering is like, how good does it feel to let go of stuff? And then we connect in with our gut brain, right? And that's our GPS. It's our internal GPS that really is driving the true essence of us. It's listening to that niggle inside of us, that little voice in our head, whatever. Whereas your head brain goes, yeah, that's just a logical GPS. But once you connect in with that internal one down in the gut brain, amazing, right? And that's, you've got to go via the heart and let shit go. Just let it go. Surrender. And then you get to that sweet spot. Amazing once you get there.
It is. But you have to go through all three.
Yeah.
You got to go through the brain to get to the heart. Or you have to, even if you start in heart, you got to get to, I mean, they can't, you have to use all three. I guess that's my point. Like, it can go in any sort of order, but you need to engage all three. And then that's how you're really, I think, really able to start finding that joy again. But I think the joy even finds, you have to find peace first. So I am kind of glad that we brought the two together, though it does seem like we're talking more about choices than anything, which is fine. That's the beauty of these conversations. They go where they go. But I feel like you have to, and weigh in on this, I feel like you have to find yourself some sort of peace before you can start allowing yourself to experience joy. Because without like that calm space, you can't quite tap into it, don't you think?
Yeah, totally. And I like to equate it to this 3-part journey to get to the joy. Is, you mentioned it before, have the acceptance. Accept it is what it is, right? Just accept what's going on, the situation. Then have the awareness that you can change, you have these choices. And then have the gratitude. Gratitude lifts everybody's energy, right? And and combining that with the peace out of the pain, right? Because you manifest, you have to, whatever you're creating in your life, you've got to do it from a platform that's peaceful and joyful, because you're going to attract more of that in. So if you're not at peace, if you're still in the turmoil, whatever you're choosing to bring into your life, you're going to amplify more of that stress or that painful platform that you're sitting at. So you've got to be at peace. And that's where the acceptance, the awareness, and the gratitude comes in, because it helps you just form that solid foundation of like, okay, this is my situation. It might be a bit shitty. Okay, I'm choosing to change. That's okay. And then you've got that nice platform then to create whatever you want to bring in, and bring in the joy. But you've got to be in that peaceful situation of acceptance, awareness, and gratitude, and then bring it in. So, it's not complicated once you get it, but it's that awareness, right? You've got to accept your situation and then have awareness of what it is that you're choosing to bring in, right? And then the gratitude, like, I'm so grateful of what I've got right now, and I'm really grateful of what I'm choosing, right? And I'm making that choice. Be gentle on yourself, because we're so hard on ourselves, aren't we? We beat ourselves up. What you say in your head to yourself, you wouldn't say to your worst enemy. We're so hard and tough on ourselves. Just be grateful that that you're alive, breathing, healthy, for what you've got, and just be really gentle on yourself, because we're all beautiful souls, and we just get caught up in the rubbish of judgment of ourselves and other people. Like, let that shit go. That's part of the surrender. You're a beautiful person just as you are. We're perfectly imperfect, and once we accept that, flaws and all, because none of us are perfect.
And we're surely not finding any kind of peace in ourselves as long as we're placing judgment on ourselves and other people. Like, it ain't happening. And I mean, it's just not, right? Like, the sole nature of judgment is to create separation, to create some kind of strife, some kind of contrast and comparison. And so when you're doing that to yourself and or you're doing it to other people, well, there's nothing about contrast, comparison, and strife that brings about peace. Like, that's not what you're creating there. That's not your choice. And it's interesting, because I actually just wrote in my newsletter this month about gratitude, and how this pressure of gratitude can create our own self-judgment. So I'm glad you said be gentle about it, because there's so many people, myself even included at times, I think I'm way better about it. I won't say I'm past it, but I'm way better about it than I used to be, where I would be so worried about trying to be grateful for things that then I was like judging myself. I'd be like, well, you can't even come up with 3 different things every day. It's the same shit. Like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you be more grateful? Like, or well, how do I be grateful for this when and want, I mean, the stuff that happens in our heads. But it's funny how even trying to create a gratitude practice can actually create a lot of shame and guilt in ourselves because we're not being grateful enough. So, I mean, I think that being gentle part is super important.
Yeah, we put so much pressure on ourselves trying to do the right thing and be the right person. And, at the end of the day, it's too hard, but it's simple, simple, small steps. It's just little simple things that you can tweak, and it's the best thing you can do is have the awareness of your thoughts, right? And because it comes back to the choices again. Do I want to choose to see that in a positive way or a negative way? And it's just little things that if you can just start to have that awareness and that acceptance, the gratitude just starts to flow without becoming a hardship. And it really is getting in the driver's seat of your thoughts and stopping and pausing. Hang on, why am I thinking like that? And it changes our life. So I just encourage people just to really to stop and pause and just to reflect on what am I thinking and why am I thinking it? And is that right? And then the gratitude just starts to flow because you just start to think in a more positive way. And there's a saying, positive negativity and fear cannot hold its breath when it's surrounded by positivity and gratitude, right? So it's just when you start to think in a more positive way, everything just starts to, cascade out from there. So it's just stop being so hard on ourselves. It's stop with those negative thoughts, putting ourselves down, become just recreate that relationship with yourself, start dating yourself again. Let's just wipe that slate because we are so mean to ourselves. We are mean girls, mean bitches.
It's true. And I love what you just said too about when we notice that we're judging ourselves in some kind of way, about the gratitude thing, right? Ask yourself, well, why am I looking at it like that? Why can't I just think, okay, well, good for you because you came up with 3 things today. Why do I have to go right away to saying, well, all you come up with was 3 things today? Well, you know what? We're not always our best. And we're not always having the greatest day. And sometimes life feels overwhelming and shitty. And so sometimes 3 things is a big deal. And so why am I choosing to look at my behavior, my thoughts, what is trying to be a positive effort? Why am I choosing to look at that with self-criticism? So I definitely like that you said that. I love too that you just said about date yourself. I think that's true for us, whether we're in a relationship or not. And I think it can be a big path to finding more joy in our lives. I think we need to start remembering, what did I love to do when I was a kid? What's the thing that, used to make me just lose track of time? And then my mom had to track me down, right? And call me in because it was time for bed. I missed dinner. What was that? What are these new experiences? Something I've never done before. For me personally, I want to try belly dancing because I think it'll be so awkward and so uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
And yet I am desperate to try and make myself do this. But I think I could really love it. And I don't know if I don't do something new.
Yeah, life is about having fun and people forget about the fun, right? And, it's about being comfortable in your own skin, just being okay with who you are and, just living in the moment because we're all just wonderful people. We really are. And when we forget about that because we we become so judgy and life gets in the way. But peel back the layers and go back to basics, basic good old fun. It's just like, we're not here for a long time, but we're here for a good time. So like, let's have some fun. Life should be about being happy, healthy, and wealthy. And wealthy, I mean, on every level, you know, just there is abundance all around us. And we forget about that, you know, because we get caught up with the bigger house, the bigger car, the bigger this, the bigger that. We don't need all that stuff, really. And that's where I discovered the joy was in the little things. It's like literally stopping to smell the roses. For me, it's going and the birds outside that come every afternoon, walking on the beach and seeing the dolphins. That to me is my joy. And, you know, and it's fun, you know, hanging out with people that make you laugh. You know, I'm very selective now about who I hang out with. And, you know, you become the 5 people that you hang around the most, right? So I'm very selective about the 5 people I hang around because, you know, I don't want Debbie Downers. I want people that make me laugh, you know, laugh till I wet my pants, that sort of fun, you know. I love that. I call it an ab ache because my abs ache so hard when I'm having a good belly laugh, you know.
Yeah. Well, and so, I mean, that brings up the whole idea around the energy, right? And the vibration and being able to, once we find that sense of peace and we can start layering in this joy, I think you do become more sensitive to other people's energy. And it's important that we keep our own energies high, our vibrations high, in such a way that we can continue to find peace and joy. And it also just happens to make us healthier. And it also just helps us manifest stuff. And so part of the reason where I'm going with this is you started this whole clothing line, which I super love. And tell me, is it kind of that principle that made you start that to begin with? Like, tell everyone about the clothing line, what it's doing, where it came from.
Yeah, it's so fantastic. So I work with frequencies, right? I have a frequency family of people that are on that same radio station. This is like tuning into a radio station that I really vibe with, right? It's as simple as that. And so I was walking on the beach one day listening to Joe Vitale's book, The Secret to Manifesting Money. And the last chapter of the book said the secret to manifesting money is to do what you're passionate about. And I thought, well, what am I, monetize that? And I thought, well, what am I passionate about? And I thought, it's walking on the beach every day, listening to empowering podcasts like yourself or books and working out and workshopping life with my girlfriends. And I thought, well, how do you monetize that? So I meditated on that. I'm in a frequency group and I was just feeling the vibes. So 24 hours later, what downloaded and landed with me was this name, Empowered Clothing. And I thought, right, okay. So, and then dress with intent came from that. I thought, well, what does that mean? And I thought, well, every day it's a choice. We open the wardrobe. What do we put on? And I think, well, I've always been drawn by color. And I thought color's energy. And then I'm right into the chakras, and that's it within our energy bodies. And I thought, well, how about if we powerfully dressed in a conscious way, so conscious clothing. So I created a brand, Empowered Clothing, Dressed with Intent, based on the 7 chakras. Well, I actually work with the 13 chakras, but I'm starting with the 7 chakras because I've got to meet people where they're at. So a clothing range based on chakra clothing, right? So the 7 colors. And so our energy bodies, the power of color, and then combining that with powerful affirmations and the healing properties of crystals. So I combined all of that into a clothing range. So now I have a long sleeve range of workout wear for women committed to their well-being, particularly menopausal ones or perimenopausal, so 40s, 50s, 60s plus. So it's designed for that aging gracefully body, right? So, longer, wider sleeves, wider around the midriff and stuff, but it's gorgeous and it's made in bamboo. I'm all about sustainability and ethical manufacturing. So I've been accredited with Ethical Clothing Australia and sustainability, made in bamboo, which is amazing. So I've got 2 styles. I've got a raceback singlet and long sleeve, relaxed fit, long sleeve top. And it's so powerful. We've got little pockets on the side to carry the particular chakra crystal for that color. and each top has its own empowering affirmations or statements. So like for today, I'm wearing connecting, love, light, and gratitude, because it's the purple, and it's to do with all connecting to our higher self and really stepping into that love, light, and gratitude. Funny, we were talking about that. And then underneath that, choosing to be anchored, which is our base chakra. So anchoring and grounding ourselves in. So I thought, why not? Because we every day we want to choose our clothing and do it more powerfully and step into that energy. It's time that people get into the driver's seat of their own energy. Exactly what we've been talking about today, because life's too short. We want to bring that joy into our life. And so every day I'm empowering myself because where your attention goes, your energy flows. So where am I choosing to send my attention? To myself. What energy do I want to step into? Empower ourselves and do it with your clothing, because we all have to get dressed. The pain point is, what do I put on today?
That's the thing. I mean, and that's why when I learned about this from you and I met you, I thought this was so brilliant, because it is all the things we were talking about. Like, it's just like I said at one point, like, we choose from the second we wake up. Well, your chances are, unless you're in a nudist colony, God bless, which is awesome, go for it. But you probably are going to choose your clothes. And it is empowering, especially depending on what level of trauma you came from, or if you came from a situation where you were abused. Like, some women, some children grew up, they didn't get to choose what they put on. I mean, think about that. Think about how empowering it is then to be able to choose what you put on, and then to have an unconscious awareness about choosing our energy. And so you've like layered this together. So you're making a choice about what you wear, and you also get to choose which energy you're going to envelope yourself in for the day, with intention, with color, with the crystals.
How powerful is that?
I think it's super powerful.
To make that choice to change and just really step it up a notch and just go, you know what? This is my life. I'm in the driver's seat. And so and you don't have to tell anyone anything, because you're just so comfortable in being you. And you feel empowered. And, I love the crystals, because it's something that you can hold or touch, because for years and years, I stick stuff down my boobs. I don't know about you. I carry everything. If I bend over, crystals fall out, this and that falls out.
Every night.
I want to keep it close to my heart. So I just put a little pocket. So for people that don't like...
I love that. I do love that. That's awesome. Sally, this has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. I knew it would be. Tell everyone, where can they find your Empower Clothing? Where can they find you? Do you do remote sessions and things with people?
Yeah, totally. I'm on Zoom 24/7. Yeah.
So tell everyone about where they can connect with you, they can follow you, they can learn more about you, they can get the clothes.
Yeah, thank you so much. I so totally vibe you. You just rock, because you're just you. You're just comfortable being you. You just, warts and all, you're just genuine and authentic. And that's what I just totally vibe about you.
It took me a while to get here. Right.
Hilarious. So my website for the clothing is empowerclothing.com.au, and all my services and products and everything else is on holisticallyfit.com.au, because I call myself the holistically fit specialist, because I work on all levels, mind, body, and soul, and just help people create positive change, because it's your own journey of healing. All we do is just hold your hand and assist you as you go down that path. So it just... love life. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time, though. So, bring some more joy into it.
I love that. That is a wonderful note to close us on. Thank you again so much for being here. I loved having you. Sojourners out there listening, go check out Sally's clothing, go connect with her, follow her, see how she might be able to help facilitate you and your self-discovery and healing journey to find more joy and peace. Until next time, thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe.